So hello, everyone. I'm so sorry that I cannot be there with you in person, but this was a really important meeting to be a part of. I did not want to miss it, but I apologize. I am in California for work. But we've coordinated it so that both Dr. Hackett and Julie will assist and we'll try and get through this as best we possibly can. So let's call the meeting to order. Pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act, public notice of this meeting has been given by the board secretary in the following manner: posting written notice on the official bulletin board at the Voorhees Township Public Schools Administrative Building on August 4th, 2025, sending written notice to the Courier Post on August 4th, 2025, filing written notice with the clerk of Voorhees Township on August 4th, 2025, and posting on the Voorhees Township website on August 4th, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board Secretary, will you call the roll, please?
Here.
Mr. Rosner?
Here.
Here. Here.
Ms. Birdie? Here. So we're going to slightly change the order of the meeting so that we can get our Osage students that have so gracefully joined us to do a presentation. We're going to do them first, and we're then going to do the service awards, and then we'll get into the regular agenda, if that works for everybody. So Dr. Hackett, I'm going to turn it over to you for the Osage student presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Board President. Good evening, everyone. I'd now like to bring forward the principal of the amazing Osage School, Mr. Kramer.
All right. Good evening, President Watson and Dr. Hackett and members of the Board of Education and community members in attendance. Thank you so much for coming. 2 years ago, Osage's librarian, Mrs. Caitlin Pluzak, asked if she could implement a Student of the Month program at Osage to help teach and recognize positive character traits. Since this was something new for Osage, I wasn't sure how it would run or be received by the students, parents, and staff. Well, it has far exceeded expectations. Ms. Pluzak has done an absolutely amazing job. Not only do the students enjoy being recognized, the parents of the Students of the Month love coming to the school to be a part of our special assemblies. And then at the beginning of this school year, fourth grade teacher, Ms. Carrie Mann, asked if she could start something called Behavior Bravos to catch students being good. The students are thrilled when they are recognized by a staff member and get to have their Behavior Bravo displayed by the front office for all to see. It has been a great addition to our school and actually goes along with our Student of the Month program wonderfully. I would now like to introduce Osage's librarian, Mrs. Caitlin Pluzak, to speak more about Student of the Month.
Thank you, Mr. Cranmer. Good evening. When teachers are asked why they chose the profession of teaching, the answers are pretty standard. You'll hear responses like, I want to make a difference, and kids are the future. These are the reasons we became teachers, and we continue in this profession to encourage all children to be the best version of themselves, regardless of their ability, to make kids feel like they matter and that we see the value they have, to teach them to see the value in others, and most importantly, in themselves. But as any educator can tell you, this is not an easy task. After 20 years in education, I found myself asking, how do we make sure that students are meeting all of the academic standards and objectives that we present to them, while at the same time reminding them that character matters and making the right choice every day in all areas is just as important as their score on a test? How do we recognize the positive qualities that are already there and try to foster a desire for excellence and growth? A survey of the staff at Osage identified character traits we'd like to foster in our students. It was important for us to choose values that are not necessarily directly tied to academic success, because we wanted to ensure that all students had access to this program and that no child was excluded from receiving an award. Each month, we read a paired text together as a class as an introduction to that month's character trait. Seeing oneself reflected in a book is one of the great joys of literature, and there is no better way to help students understand and internalize a character trait than by watching it come to life through relatable characters and meaningful stories. Integrity, perseverance, compassion, responsibility, and leadership are just some of the chosen characteristics. And while no one trait is more important than another, the program has fostered more than just a desire to be a great kid. Students are asking difficult questions of themselves and others. During a discussion surrounding integrity, which we explain as doing the right thing even when no one is watching, one student asked, "Mrs. Paluzak, how do you know we're doing the right thing if you're not watching?" During a discussion about perseverance, another student remarked, "It's really hard to make the right choice after you've made the wrong one." This program continues to open the students' eyes to a world of personal growth, with conversations extending to the concepts of humility and grace, inspiring them to approach others with empathy and understanding, and offering it to themselves as well. I'd like to introduce Ghazi Hussein and Amelia Dawson, fifth graders at Osage and recent recipients of the Student of the Month Award, to share their experience with the program and share what it has meant to them. Ghazi?
Hi, my name is Ghazi. I am a fifth grader at Osage, and I was recognized for exemplifying responsibility in February 2025. On the morning of the Student of the Month assembly, I saw my parents in the cafeteria. Was I the Student of the Month, I thought? I looked at them and pointed to myself with a questioning look. Me? My parents nodded. I felt proud and excited that I got picked. After you get recognized, you go up to the podium, get your award, and walk back to your seat. It is also nice to have students on the edge of the row putting their hands out to give you a high five. Once the assembly is over, all the students of the month go to the library with their parents to have snacks and take pictures. It also makes the school a more positive place. This is because when a student gets picked, it boosts their self-confidence. Then that self-confidence gets passed on to other students who might need it. This makes a big impact on the whole school. So what does make a student deserve the award? Well, there are different qualities that different students have, and we learn them in library class. Every month, there is a new trait like integrity, perseverance, friendship, generosity, kindness, and responsibility. For example, integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is watching. If a student always does the right thing no matter what, they could deserve the award. If a student deserved the perseverance award, though, they could have been struggling in math or ELA. When they got something wrong, they wouldn't get discouraged, but would keep trying. In school, we do a lot, but none of our peers take the time out to recognize a student's personality. With the Student of the Month award, though, students appreciate that they get recognized for something other than grades. I'm glad to have received the Responsibility Award, and I'm also glad that my school has this program. Thank you for listening to me.
Hi, I'm Amelia Dawson, and perseverance and when things are hard and you still do them because you want to. One of the most challenging things I've had to do is readjust to being at a new school. I used to move classes and schools a lot, and I was not used to the way Osage works. But thanks to my great teachers and welcoming students, I feel like I haven't moved schools at all and that I've had these friends forever. My teachers were probably the main reason I got the Perseverance Award. Because even when I didn't know something or had a hard time doing something, they still pushed me to do better. And they never gave up on me. I'm still so thankful for them pushing me past my limit because it had made me so much smarter and better at the things I thought I would never be good at.
Not all children get A's on every test, or win first in their sports division, or get accepted into elite academies. Not all children will grow to be the president of a company or the head of a law firm, but encouraging students to be good humans and grow in kindness, integrity, bravery, compassion, and perseverance will serve them well beyond their academic years into a future where the best measurement of success is not the job they do or the salary they make, but how they show up for themselves and to the people in the world around them. At this time, I'd like to introduce Osage fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Carrie Mann.
Good evening. As part of the Summer District Climate and Culture Committee, our team was tasked with developing initiatives to further strengthen our school climate. During a collaborative brainstorming session with colleagues, the idea for Behavior Bravos emerged. Once the seed was planted, I approached my ever so supportive principal, shared the concept, and asked if I could lead the initiative as part of my internship this year. He responded with an enthusiastic yes. With the help of my Osage family, we designed a program that intentionally acknowledges and celebrates students in meaningful ways. We wanted to honor the students who consistently do the right thing, those who are easygoing and dependable, yet sometimes go unnoticed because their positive choices are simply expected. Additionally, we wanted to encourage students who may experience behavioral challenges but are making an effort to improve. It is essential that these students feel the pride of making positive choices and that their classmates recognize that everyone is capable of success. An exciting element that connects both programs is our Behavior Bravo bonus wheel. During our Student of the Month celebration, Mr. Cramner and I share the total of Bravos earned and then draw 3 names from the pool of students who received Bravos that month to spin the wheel for a special privilege. This feature has become something the students genuinely look forward to, adding a fun and motivating twist to the recognition process. We're excited to welcome a few students who will be sharing their Behavior Bravos they have earned.
Hi, I'm Gia Jin, and I received 3 Behavior Bravos in the month of October. My first Bravo says, Gia helped out her classmate during the NJSLA directions training. Awesome job, looking out for your peers. My second Bravo says, during math, Gia noticed her classmate was cold but didn't have his jacket. She offered her sweatshirt to him so he can warm up. So thoughtful of you, Gia. My third Bravo says, Gia continued to focus on her math work instead of getting distracted by her talking classmates. I enjoyed getting the Behavior Bravos.
Good job, sweetie.
Hi, I'm Olivia Lee. I am a 4th grader in Miss Mann's class. I have received 2 Behavior Bravos so far. My first Bravo says, Olivia displayed excellent hallway behavior by facing forward and not talking to classmates. My second Bravo says, Liv is so supportive of her classmates. She goes out of her way to help them and include them. She sees a classmate needing help and automatically sets in. Getting Behavior Bravos made me feel proud and excited.
Good job.
I'm Jet and I'm a fifth grader in Mr. Brooks and Mrs. Riggs' class. I received 2 Behavior Bravos in October, one from Mrs. Riggs and one from Mrs. Madola. My Bravos are for being helpful and showing kindness. My first Bravo from Mrs. Madola was from recess. It says, helping from the kindness of his heart by gathering sports equipment. Thank you for caring about Osage. My second Bravo was from math class. It says, Jet always asks to help students who either come to class late or misses a math lesson. He is not only a great teacher, but even a better friend.
I will now turn it over to Mrs. Morgan.
In closing, our Student of the Month and Behavior Bravo programs are about more than just certificates and recognition. They're about creating moments that make our students feel proud about who they are and how they show up each day. Each time we celebrate a student's effort and positive choices, we're helping them build confidence and showing them that what they do truly matters. We're also incredibly proud of the strong sense of community and family we've become at Osage. Inviting families to celebrate with us adds a special touch. Seeing parents and guardians beam with pride as their child is recognized really reinforces what makes Osage feel like home. As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, they will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Through these celebrations, we hope our students and their families feel appreciated and inspired to keep striving for their best every day. Thank you for allowing us to share our programs at tonight's meeting. Now, let's give our students one more round of applause because they are the superstars.
Thank you so much.
We're going to come down and give some gifts to the students, but I want to say to you, congratulations. And Osage is truly a family. And all the teachers and Mr. Kramer, Ms. Morgan, you all make this work and you all make this possible. And I'm just so excited. I was fighting back tears. It was absolutely beautiful. So Ms. Ketover, the Vice President, and I'm going to come down and provide some gifts.
And I'll just say a quick word since I'm here. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of all of the students. I've had the privilege of being at Osage's 5th grade graduation for the past couple of years, and it is such a pleasure to be in the environment. You do create a wonderful, connected family. So thank you all for being here to support your kids, and thank you for the teachers to support the students. It's wonderful to see all of you tonight. Perfect. Thank you.
At this time, if the parents of the Osage students want to exit, you are more than welcome. We'll give you some time to do that, and we'll get into the service awards next. Okay, are we ready to go in? Yeah, okay. So we have a lot of service awards. This is one of my favorite things to do on the board because it shows how incredibly dedicated everyone is to our district. We are going to make a short statement, even for people who are not in attendance today, because it's important that we recognize them. But I just wanted to make sure everybody understood and appreciated that as we kind of go through the very long list of esteemed colleagues. So starting with Dina Appleson, who is not in attendance. Dina began her teaching career as an instructional associate in 1999. Over the years, she taught kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. She never imagined how deeply this journey would shape her, not only as a teacher, but also as a person. Thank you so much, Mrs. Appleson. Moving to Janetta Barnhart. With a remarkable teaching career spanning over 28 years, this dedicated educator began her journey in 1997 within the Vineland Public School District, where she taught both second and sixth grade classrooms for 2.5 years. In 2000, she joined Voorhees Middle School, initially teaching sixth grade before finding her passion in seventh grade reading. Her commitment to literacy and student success has been further demonstrated through her role on the VMS ELA Textbook Committee. Beyond the classroom, she supports students as a mentor and contributes to school spirit and athletics as an assistant cheerleading and softball coach. Starting in December, she will embrace a new challenge as the reading specialist at VMS. Proudly balancing her professional and personal life, she is a mother of 3 sons and has been happily married to her husband, Jerry, for 20 years. Thank you so much, Ms. Barnhart. Miss Kelly Beck. She is also not in attendance. As a proud product of the Voorhees school system, Mrs. Beck was inspired to pursue a career in education by her 5th grade teacher at Crescent, whose positive impact stayed with her. She completed her student teaching at Hamilton, later serving as a substitute teacher for the district and then as an instructional associate at Osage. She went on to teach 4th grade at Osage for nearly 20 years before transitioning to Signal Hill 5 years ago as the enrichment teacher. Mrs. Beck's deep connection to the district makes it incredibly meaningful to give back to the community that shaped her. Thank you so much, Ms. Beck. Mr. Jim Brown. Mr. Brown has served as a special education teacher in both the resource classroom and in class support general education classroom. He has been on the RTI committee and has served as the assistant boys basketball coach and head girls basketball coach. Mr. Brown is blessed and honored to have had the opportunity over the years to serve with so many dedicated and highly professional teachers who have provided the students of VMS with the highest quality educational experience possible. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. Miss Jennifer Bono. Miss Bono has worked at all 25 years at Signal Hill. She began in 1999 as a building substitute and instructional associate, and by 2000 had her own classroom as a 2nd grade teacher. She has taught 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as a classroom teacher. In 2005, Miss Bono received her master's in reading, and in February of 2014 became the reading specialist at Signal Hill. Her proudest moments are honestly just seeing students feel proud about their own success. Thank you so much, Miss Bono. Miss Danielle Clark, also not in attendance. Miss Clark has worked as an instructional associate in the district for the past 25 years at different schools throughout the district. She is not in attendance this evening. Congratulations, Miss Clark. Mr. Frank Concepcion. Like many new educators, Mr. Concepcion entered teaching with more hope than experience, but he was really fortunate when he came to Voorhees 25 years ago and had amazing mentors and colleagues that helped him find his way. Not only has he been a health and physical education teacher at Voorhees Middle School for the past 25 years, but also the assistant track coach. He is grateful for one thing that has always remained constant, the power of connection. The relationships with students, families, colleagues have encouraged him through the years. Frank states, quote, "I would not be where I am today without the unwavering love and support of my wife and daughter, whose encouragement inspires me each and every day to strive toward becoming the best version of myself," end quote. Thank you so much, Mr. Concepcion. Ginny Concepcion. Miss Concepcion taught health and PE for 20 years at VMS and the last 5 at E.T. Hamilton. She was a group leader for the CER summer camp for 4th and 5th grade for 20 years. A few highlights of her career include being the head field hockey coach at VMS, where the team had many successful seasons and championships. Probably the biggest highlight of her career are the lasting bonds and friendships that have been forged with families and students in this wonderful community. She was truly blessed and grateful for the day in June 2000 when she was selected by the district as the health and physical education teacher. Thank you so much, Ms. Concepcion. Susan Donnelly. Miss Donnelly began her teaching career as a sixth grade science teacher at the Voorhees Middle School in September of 2000. She worked as a VMS sixth grade science teacher for 15 years before accepting the position of supervisor of special projects in 2015. She holds a bachelor's of science in psychology and elementary education, a master's degree in educational technology, and a second master's degree in school counseling and the New Jersey Educational Leadership Supervisory Certificate. She is proud to be a part of the Voorhees School District. She has fostered great relationships and takes pride in her work as leader in the school community. Miss Donnelly is most grateful for her daughter Kaylee, son Nathan, and the love and support of her family. Thank you so much, Miss Donnelly. Liz Grossman. Mrs. Grossman was at Osage for her first year of her career and has been at E.T. Hamilton ever since, with the exception of one recent year at Crescent. She approaches her work with caring, creativity, and a strong positive attitude. Whether student teaching, long-term substituting, in self-contained classrooms, in resource classrooms, in inclusion classrooms, doing home programming, in ESY, as an RBT, or while teaching her fine arts class, Creating Creatures in Saturday Spectacular, Liz continues to learn and be inspired by our students, their families, her coworkers, and administration alike. That is why, after all this time, Mrs. Grossman looks forward to each school day and genuinely appreciates the chance to make a positive difference in the lives of our precious students. Thank you, Mrs. Grossman. Jeff Lanzalata. Mr. Lanzalata has worked at VMS all 25 years teaching 7th grade science. He taught in the same 2 classrooms throughout his career. In addition to teaching, he has served as the head wrestling coach for 25 years, head track coach for over 10 years, chess club advisor for over 10 years, and as the VTEA executive treasurer for 15 years. He has also served on other committees over the years: faculty advisory, student teacher mentor, and teacher teacher mentor. Mr. Lanzalata's proudest moments are the positive relationships with parents, teachers, staff, students over the years. He says there's nothing like getting an email or handwritten letter from a former student saying how I changed their lives or outlook on school and how they are now successful in their own careers and family life. Thank you so much, Mr. Lanzalata. Cliff Levine. Thank you to the Board of Education and the administration for this recognition. Cliff appreciates the opportunity to work with students in this community for the past 25 years. During this time, Cliff has taught 6th and 7th grade students. Cliff enjoys mentoring new teachers and students. He also enjoys additional responsibilities that include supervising after-school sports and Sunday reflection classes. Thank you so much, Mr. Levine. Nancy Long-Badessa, not in attendance. 25 years in Voorhees School District has given Miss Long-Badessa countless memories, amazing colleagues, and the privilege. Oops, thank you so much, Miss Long-Badessa. Natalie Medola. A proud former Osage student, Natalie Medola is celebrating 25 years in the Voorhees Township Public Schools. Dual certified in elementary and special education, she has taught every grade from 1st through 5th and now serves as Osage's enrichment teacher. She co-leads the Innovation Committee and has served on multiple district and school committees, guiding her work with a belief in empowering students to think critically, act compassionately, and create meaningful change in their world. Thank you so much, Ms. Medola. Nancy Nolte, not in attendance. Mrs. Nolte served as the district substitute caller the first 10 years of her career. The next 15 years, she has worked at Osage as an instructional associate. In 2014, she received the Inspiration in Education Speak Instructional Associate Award. Mrs. Nolte has worked after school for the child study team at all 4 elementary schools. She has been a member of the Osage Green Team and has worked in the ESY program for the past 12 years. Thank you so much, Ms. Nolte. Erin Putman. Erin Putman has been a special education teacher at Osage for her whole career. She has taught in many different grade levels and classrooms. At the start of her career, she served as co-director of the VMS Drama Club for 8 years. She has also served on the DEI Committee, Innovation Team, Anxiety Committee, and ICS cohort. She currently is a design team ambassador with the NGEA Consortium. Her greatest passion as an educator is helping all students feel like a valued and important part of their classroom community. Thank you so much, Ms. Putnam. Andrea Story. Mrs. Story has spent Mrs. Story has spent the past 25 years at Osage, where she has the privilege of serving as both the inclusion and resource room teacher. Over the years, she has proudly contributed to our school community through her work on the RTI committee, faculty council, and as a senior representative for the VTEA. One of Mrs. Story's greatest joys has been teaching children to read using the SPIRE program and helping colleagues bring this resource into their own classrooms. Mrs. Story's teaching career began in 1995 at the Lindenwold Public Schools, where she taught in a self-contained classroom. She later taught in Baltimore County Public Schools before joining Osage in 2000. Mrs. Story is so grateful for the opportunity to grow and learn alongside such an amazing team and wonderful students. She states, quote, "Osage has truly become my second home," end quote. Thank you so much, Mrs. Story. Rachel White. With a dedicated 25-year career in health and physical education, Miss White has had the privilege of teaching 18 years at the elementary level at Crescent, Signal Hill, and E.T. Hamilton. The past 8 years have been at VMS, helping students grow in both fitness and character. Throughout her career, Miss White has organized and run 18 field days that took careful planning, teamwork, and dedication to create fun, safe, and memorable experiences for every student. She has mentored new educators, served as a bus supervisor, and member of the Faculty Advisory Committee, participated in the VTEA staff volleyball games, supervised as an after-school sports supervisor, and worked CER before care, aftercare, weekends, and summer camp programs. Mrs. White has also contributed to the CER Super Saturday Spectacular program to further support school community. Thank you so much, Mrs. White. And last but surely not least, Julie Zielinski. Mrs. Zielinski began working in Voorhees Township in 1988 at Crescent School and started full-time in 1992 at Signals Hill School through the CER programs. In 2000, she became a contracted teacher at Voorhees Middle School, where she has proudly remained ever since. Over the years, Mrs. Zielinski has coached soccer for 8 years and currently supervises the Viking Academy morning class. Her greatest accomplishments, however, are her 3 amazing children, Kylie, Grant, and Blake, who continue to inspire her every day. Thank you so much, Mrs. Zielinski. And let's give another round of applause to all of our Service Award members. Okay, moving into the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the board minutes of the October 29th, 2025 regular meeting, please?
So move, Stewart.
Second, Rudder.
Online voting is open. Of 8 yeses, 1 abstention from Mr. Rosner. The motion carries.
Great, thank you. I do have some comments this evening.
Mrs. Watson,
Yes.
can you wait 1 minute? People
Yeah.
are shuffling out.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, I think it's okay now. Thanks.
Great. No, thank you. Okay, so I have a couple of comments, so please bear with me. Good evening, everyone. Before we begin tonight's agenda, I want to take a moment to recognize and celebrate our service award recipients. These individuals have dedicated 25 plus years, in many cases far more, to educating and supporting the children of Voorhees School District. Their commitment, stability, and deep love for our students have shaped generations of families. On behalf of the Board of Education, I want to sincerely thank each of you for your extraordinary service. Your work is the backbone of this district, and we are profoundly grateful. I also want to acknowledge something a bit more personal. This is my favorite time of year. Thankfulness grounds us. It refocuses us. It allows us to see past the noise and return to what really matters: community, purpose, and the well-being of the children and families we serve. Gratitude is good for the soul. And as we head into the holiday season, I want to wish everyone here a joyful, peaceful, and restorative break. May it be a time of rest, reflection, and connection for you and your families. Now, as we turn to our more formal remarks tonight, I want to begin by acknowledging that since Julianne has chosen not to seek re-election, tonight marks her final meeting as a member of the Voorhees Board of Education. In reflecting on her tenure, I want to take a moment to appreciate her service and notably to share what effective school board service truly requires. As people often forget, we are mere servants of the community, volunteers called to hold our schools and administration to the highest standards of excellence. Board service is not simply about passion, intelligence, or having strong opinions. It is about partnership. It is about trust. It is about humility. And it is about recognizing that no single member governs the district. We succeed collectively or not at all. Over the last several years, we have learned, sometimes through difficult moments, that when trust is absent, progress stalls. When colleagues cannot trust one another or the administration they hired, the work becomes heavier for all. When every administrative decision is questioned reflexively, when collaboration is replaced with confrontation, and when feedback, thoughtful, constructive feedback, is dismissed as hostility or criticism, or better yet, bullying, it creates strain that ultimately diverts attention from where it belongs, our students. We have experienced moments where tact and subtlety were lacking. We have seen criticism delivered publicly rather than addressed privately. We have seen colleagues challenged instead of supported. We have seen important partners second guessed, not because of disagreement on substance, but because collaboration itself was difficult. And yet through these challenges, this board made a choice. We chose to grow stronger together. We leaned on one another. We listened more carefully. We clarified our values. We focused on results. We refused to allow conflict to define us or derail us. And that strength shows in our accomplishments. We opened a preschool, a major complex undertaking requiring trust, coordination, and unwavering dedication to families. We navigated difficult and sensitive issues with transparency, unity, and professionalism. We rebuilt our sense of team, not by ignoring challenges, but by recommitting ourselves to the mission every time adversity arose. And I want to say something honestly and respectfully. Julianne is incredibly smart. She has strong public policy instincts and cares deeply about the issues she champions. With a greater willingness to collaborate, more trust in the people around her, and a readiness to accept feedback without viewing it through a lens of conflict, I believe she would have had a profound impact and been an extraordinarily influential member of this board. But board service ultimately depends on the ability to work with others, especially when we disagree. It depends on elevating the district above ego. It depends on remembering why we are here to serve children, not ourselves. As we move into the next chapter, I want to affirm that this board remains committed to partnership with our administration, to respectful governance, and to forward momentum. We are entering this next phase stronger, more cohesive, more aligned than we have ever been in years. Tonight and always, we move forward as a board that trusts, collaborates, listens, and works together for every student in this district. Thank you and happy holidays to all.
My name is Julianne Verdi, not Julianne. Thank you.
Fire drills and safety drills are on the attached. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying report is also attached, and suspensions are also on the attachment. We have one Oprah request that is now closed. and turning it to the board secretary to share maintenance work completed.
Thank you. During the teachers convention break from Thursday, November 6th and Friday, November 7th, as well as Saturday, November 8th, Mr. Mathis and his staff did some work throughout the district, which they always do when the students and staff are not present. They accomplished a lot of different items, and I'll just mention a few of them. There was HVAC work that was completed. Intruder locks have been installed throughout the district, and the school we're working on right now, we're just really upgrading different locks at VMS. A light post was installed at the ECDC playground. We have rod grants that are going on, rod grant projects that are going on throughout the district, boilers at boilers at Osage and Signal Hill, and HVAC work at VMS. That work was being done during that time period too. And then flooring was installed in Signal Hill in their gym storage room. So every time we're off, they just jump in and start doing things while nobody's here, and they always accomplish so much, and we thank them for their service. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to extend a thank you to Clark and his team for the exceptional work they do every chance they get. Superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you, Board President. I want to first again acknowledge our Osage students for their wonderful work and all of our staff members who are reaching 25 years. Those two groups go hand in hand. Dedicated staff members who are here and give all of what they have to this district result in students who feel really good about themselves, and they are in an environment that's conducive to learning. So those two groups go hand in hand, and I just want to thank both of them again. There were a few questions at the October board meeting. The first question was, why was there a confidential resignation on the September agenda? There were 2 resignations on the agenda, and they were voted under one resolution, and there was no confidential resignation. I think that may have been spoken in error, but there was no confidential resignation. Then the next question was policy 0143, which was board member election and appointment. There was questions about the vocational section of that policy. And tonight, when policy gives their committee report, they will address that issue when they give their report. I'd like to remind parents that on December 4th, I will be presenting our next parent virtual workshop, which is Understanding Regulation 5600, which is Code of Conduct and Behavior Incentives. In this workshop, parents and guardians will learn about Regulation 5600, which outlines student behavior expectations, possible consequences for misconduct, and positive incentives that encourage good choices. Participants will gain a deeper understanding of how the code is applied in everyday school situations and how consequences are determined, and how the district uses proactive strategies and rewards to promote positive behavior. So I hope our parents can come out on December 4th, 7 o'clock. You will receive a reminder email. As my retirement is on the agenda this evening, effective July 1st, 2027, looking ahead is meaningful, but preparing to say goodbye to a community that has become like family is not easy. The experience we have shared, the challenges, the celebrations, and the everyday moments in between have shaped my time here in a way I will forever cherish. I am thankful for my time here, and I look forward to the next year and a half as we continue to nurture, support, and empower every child and ensure that our district continues to thrive and grow stronger. So in the meaning of Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving is a time to pause, reflect, and express gratitude for the many blessings in our lives. As superintendent, I am profoundly thankful for the talented, caring, and dedicated staff of Voorhees. Each day, they go above and beyond to nurture, challenge, and inspire our students, ensuring that every child has the opportunity to thrive. I want to also express my sincere appreciation to our Board of Education for their steadfast commitment and thoughtful leadership. Their time, insight, and service help ensure that our schools remain places where students and staff can do their best work. I'd like to thank our families and community partners for their trust and partnership. Their ongoing support and collaboration strengthen all that we do for our students. So as we enter this season of gratitude, I wish the entire Voorhees Township Public Schools family a Thanksgiving filled with peace, joy, and meaningful moments with those you love. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving to audience participation. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the side table on the right and write your name and address on the login sheet. While the board is limited in its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments from the public relating to items on the agenda for this board meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, telephone, or in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take.
I'm back. I actually have some comments on policy, on the revisions of policy 2422 regarding the statutory curriculum requirements. New Jersey has taken meaningful steps to expand cultural representation in K through 12 education. The Amistad Act, as well as the AAPI, Latino and Hispanic Heritage, and LGBTQ inclusive curriculum laws, all set a strong precedent by requiring these histories to be integrated throughout the K through 12 social studies curriculum. However, Jewish history and identity are not incorporated in the same way. The only statewide mandate requires Holocaust and genocide instruction once at either the elementary or the secondary level. As a result, students often encounter the Jewish story primarily through Holocaust, learning about Jews mainly as genocide victims rather than as people of the 3,000 years of shared history, culture, and continuity. Leaving out the broader identity fosters misconceptions that can fuel bias. Before passing revisions to policy 2422, I respectfully ask that Jewish history and identity be explicitly integrated across 12 K through 12 with the same weight and visibility as every other mandated cultural curriculum representing minority ethnic groups. Thank you.
Hi, Danielle Riggs, Osage School. I have a year and a half to figure out what I'm going to say, Dr. Hackett, so I'll get back to you. Ms. Verdi, thank you for your time on the board. Like you had said in one of the previous meetings, you may not agree with the position people are taking, and it may not align with yours as a mom or whatever, but you do what we encourage our students to do, and that is to listen to it all and form your own opinion. So if you want to feel good, come to Osage. It's a real happy place. So I'm going to speak about these two ladies right here. These are unpaid positions. The amount of time and effort, I'm going to try and get through this without crying, because these programs, I'm probably the person in the room with maybe Bruce and I, or might be Tide, who've been here the longest. And to say that these programs are effective is an understatement. Osage is such an amazing place, and my biggest regret is I didn't get there sooner. But I know Caitlin Palusak as a colleague and as a parent. To say that she has more than enough on her plate outside of school is an understatement. She came up with this program on her own, and it gives the parents and the teachers an opportunity to put into words how these kids align with these character traits. And if you could see the moments, the kids are so excited, the other kids are cheering them on. It's incredible. And Caitlin, you are just a beautiful soul, period. My sister from another mister, Miss Mann. To say her plate is not full is an understatement. This program is all about moments. And we all have those moments in our lives where we could have gone the other way. We're grabbing these kids at such pivotal moments. And Carrie has done a phenomenal job. If you could see these kids when they have to take them down to her room. Well, first off, any kid that gets to walk in the hallway, it's just like a great thing. Shoulders back, heads high, smiling. And then they get to tell everybody what's on that behavior Bravo. So the moments that you two are providing, there's no paycheck that would ever be able to give you. And to Bob and Lisa, who create an environment, my son's college, the theme is be impossible to ignore. And that's Osage. Osage, everybody is on level playing field, no matter how smart, how athletic, how artistic. So bravo and kudos to my friends and colleagues.
Are there any other comments? Okay. Okay, moving into business meeting statement. As we move into the business portion of our meeting, we want to recognize that it may appear as if the board takes action with very little comment, and in many cases, a unanimous vote. Before an item is placed on a board agenda, it is thoroughly reviewed by the superintendent and administration. The superintendent then presents the recommended action to the appropriate board committee and works with the committee to ensure that the members fully understand the recommendation. Once the committee is satisfied, the item is placed on the board agenda for discussion and action at a public meeting. Board agendas are made available to board members several days in advance of the meeting, giving us ample time to review the agenda and have all of our questions answered. Further, we are kept up to date between meetings on the ongoing work of the administration and important issues in the district. All of these efforts ensure that we are well informed and prepared to take action at our meeting. Moving to policy committee report. Ms. Branch Stewart, can you provide that report?
Certainly. Good evening. The Policy Committee met on November 11th for about a half hour. Dr. Hackett, Mr. Moskowitz, and board members Julie Kediver, Crystal Munyon, and I were present. The committee discussed and recommends full board approval for all policy items on tonight's agenda, which include for first read, Policy 9280 parent conferences. The committee notes that the language in this policy has been revised to reflect the position that notification of intent to record a conference is requested whenever possible, and that the use of AI note-taking apps is not permitted during conferences. And for second read, Policy 0143, board member election appointment, noting that we are a type 2 district, but we have omitted language pertaining to vocational districts. And Policy 2422, statutory curricular requirements reflecting state mandated curricular inclusion of contributions of diverse communities. Our next meeting will be held in January. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve all the items under policy?
Motion, so moved, Stewart.
Second, Munyon.
Helen, I don't think your mic is on.
Mr. Bryce, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. What is your vote on this item?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion unanimously passes.
Mrs. Rutter, can you please provide the Academic Excellence Committee report?
Sure. The Academic Excellence Committee met on Monday, November 10th for approximately 1 hour. It was myself, Ms. Watson, Ms. Kediver, Dr. Hackett, and Mr. Moskowitz. We do not have any action required at this time. We did have a follow-up discussion from October's meeting. We reviewed the extended day survey responses from parents who declined the service, and we are satisfied with the district's decision to continue extended day in the morning.
We talked about the March 20th in-service framework. We are really excited about the feedback that we are taking into consideration from the staff in the district, and we will be sharing the activities at the next meeting in January. And then finally, we talked about improving student experience from VMS to Eastern. Our next meeting will be, oh, I don't have it on here, next year. That's all.
I have a quick question on the Academic Excellence Committee report. And it's fine if there's no answer today, but I actually looked back at the last 6 months of Academic Excellence Committee reports and noticed that in every single report, it explicitly says no decision or no action required from the board. I guess I'm a little confused here on whether the Academic Excellence Committee is immune from full board approval on any decisions that they make, as that doesn't seem to be the case for any other committee. Or is it just that no actual decision-making is happening in that committee? The committee report seems to indicate recommendations and decisions are being made within that committee on behalf of the full board, but these decisions never seem to require board ratification. So just a little point of clarification here would be greatly appreciated, as often there are items under the Academic Excellence Committee section for approval, but that doesn't seem to mirror what the committee is actually making decisions and discussing. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under curriculum?
So moved, Rudder.
Second, Stewart.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Mr. Rosner, could you please provide a Personnel Committee report?
Yes. The Personnel Committee met last Thursday, November 13th. In attendance, myself, Ms. Rudder, Ms. Watson, Dr. Hackett, and Mr. Moskowitz. We discussed an employee termination, the NJ CUSAC appeal, a residency hearing update, and an employee leave matter. Thanks.
I have a question about the Personnel Committee report. Was the Personnel Committee presented with the full comments on the NJ CUSAC appeal? I've asked for that data and I was told it's not provided. It's not been provided to board members. So I'm just curious when discussing the NJ CUSAC results, if that was provided to the rest of the board committee. Thanks.
No, all right.
Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under personnel as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved, Rudder.
Second, Kedover.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Mr. Rosen, can you please provide a Finance Committee report?
Yes. The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, November 12th. In attendance, in addition to myself, was Julie Kedover and Crystal Munion. The district attendees were Dr. Neely Hackett, Helen Haley, Daniel Keary, and Alicia Danella, who is the board attorney. We discussed the following items. First of all items on tonight's agenda under Finance, Transportation, and Building and Grounds for vote were reviewed, and the committee is recommending approval on all items. We talked about the solar update. We had a discussion of a proposal from Gable, I don't know what their name is, Gable Associates or something. That's a consultant for the New Jersey School Boards Association for a feasibility study and RFP development, vendor selection process, and project management. And the committee decided that consideration of this project has been postponed to 2026, as the district does not believe it has the bandwidth to do a comprehensive evaluation at this time. We also talked about the Mariotto Field Agreement, and we're still awaiting for action by the township on the agreement. We also talked about additional change orders for the Voorhees Early Childhood Development Center, two in particular. One was a drainage trench for the road behind the building due to pooling of rainwater. And the second item was a relocation of pipes due to swap of certain equipment in the building. There was an extensive discussion on the newly requested change orders. For item number one, the drainage trench, after review of the site plan and photos of the water pooling, it was decided to ensure safety, particularly in the upcoming winter with potential for freezing, to approve this item. Work is expected to be completed during the winter break, so student transportation will not be disrupted. For item number two, the relocation of the pipes, there was no notification to the district of the additional cost when the swap of equipment was made, nor prior to commencing the additional work. The district had no reasonable opportunity to make decisions relating to this additional work or received information on the difference in the cost of the swapped equipment. Therefore, this item has not been approved and is not on the agenda for vote tonight. We also talked about the Voorhees Town Center redevelopment. There are several hurdles before this project gains traction. The district will monitor its progress with the regular contact with the township 2 years prior to the anticipated completion of residential construction, or as soon as more detailed information is available. The district will evaluate the impact on school capacity and will engage in addressing any capacity needs at that time. We reviewed the status of the current district construction projects, transportation of students added to the district from the Victory Commons development, and a planned food service RFP due to the expansion of food services from the original agreement, specifically adding VECDC and breakfast at 2 schools as required by regulations. There's no action by the board required at this time. The next Finance Committee meeting will be in January 2026.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under finance?
So moved, Rosen.
Second, Kedover.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
Moving to transportation, can I get a motion to approve all of the items under transportation?
So moved, Rosen.
Second, Rudder.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
Moving to buildings and grounds, can I have a motion to approve all of the items under buildings and grounds?
So moved, Rosen.
Second, Rosner.
Online voting is open. The motion unanimously passes.
Public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the side table on the right and write your name and address on the login sheet. While the board is limited in its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments for the public. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, telephone, or in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take.
Good evening. A couple comments for tonight. One, when I was doing the quick math for the teachers, so that was about 475 years in Voorhees. And that's one of the ones that a lot of people always wonder, like, why, how you get to keep people. So, I mean, that was just a quick math with that. That was pretty substantial. Two, the 2 programs that we have at Osage, I'm fortunate enough, I'm the one that lets the parents in before they come in. And it's just nice to see that. I mean, it's nice to see that sometimes to see the recognition of their child that they know they see and see someone else. So I have to say, it's thoroughly enjoyable. And the Bravos are great because it is funny when they see their name up, they do look, and they're sincere, like they're not made up compliments and things. And I think the kids read into it a lot. The other comment I was going to make, and I was discussed earlier, I did want to thank Mrs. Verdi for her service. Anytime you're away from your family, of course, all of the other board members that are here, but anytime you're away from your family and stuff, it's well appreciated. And like I said, I enjoy sitting in the audience and listening to everybody. So I feel I get a lot from Mrs. Verdi and from the other members. I'm not privy to things behind scenes, but I just would like to offer my thank you and happy Thanksgiving. And thank you.
I'm back again. Julianne, congratulations on serving your term on the board. I am so proud to call you a friend. We didn't start off that way. In fact, we could not have been any more opposite. But once we were forced to sit next to each other, we got to know one another and we became fast friends. Our relationship is exactly what you say to never judge a book by its cover. Serving on policy with you during your first year gave me a front seat to your immense knowledge base and all you have to offer our community. I learned so much from you and how you really put your heart and soul into everything you take on. You are an amazing mom to 4 children. You work full-time at a career that is reaching national level and recently having a bill that was introduced to Congress. If that's not an immense accomplishment, I don't know what is. I am beyond impressed. And it's so impressive. And you really dedicated your life to our community. Each month, you show your vulnerability when talking to the public about your own mental health struggles, putting your sexual orientation in the forefront, and standing up for our teachers in our community. Our community was so lucky to have you show the public what a board member should prioritize: our kids, teachers, and community. Thank you, and I know you'll put all this energy into something even greater in the future. And one more speaker for you.
Hi, my name is Aurora, and I'm an 8th grader at Voorhees Middle School. I would like to take a moment on her last night here to appreciate all the work Julianne has put in nationally providing migraine sufferers like myself better accommodations around migraines. It gets frustrating when we're constantly being told to stop being overdramatic or that it's just a headache, and her bringing awareness to the real pains of those who suffer with chronic migraines has made the struggles reach a wider audience and bring visibility to what migraines actually are. And I'd also like to bring up that as a fellow POTS sufferer who's currently trying to get through middle school, she has always been someone to lean on for guidance and information. I appreciate everything she's done for us invisible disability community, because our pain should be anything but invisible. And the more you talk about it, the more we can learn. Thank you again, Julianne, for always being there and using your voice for good and being polite even when people try to put you down. Your light can't be dimmed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for all the comments. Moving to
Mrs. Watson, one more comment from the public.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Hello. I wanted to take a moment to thank Ms. Verdi and also to advocate for constructive dissent and to consider how we are giving space to what can be very useful. I know in my career, there have been many times where as an engineer, I feel it's my job always to red team everything. And I know that's not always accepted. It can feel to others like I am finding negativity where there doesn't need to be. And when I go to others and I say, okay, I have this, what I think is a great idea. Please tear me apart in your mercy, right? The idea is if they let me know what's wrong now, it will save me trouble in the future. It is a positive thing to accept a certain amount of potential, what seems like negativity. And it's important to make space for that by not always responding to it as if it's animosity. And I kind of get some of that sense here. Again, I don't know what else is going on, but I kind of feel like not only is that important here, but it is an important thing within the school system as well to help promote that and to give space for things that we don't feel we understand, but people are being friendly by being pointing out things that are wrong. Thank you.
I think that we are complete with the public comments.
Okay, thanks. Okay, board member comments. We're actually going to start with the ad hoc student discipline committee report from Mr. Bryce.
Thank you, Madam President. The student data ad hoc meeting was held on November 12th at 7 p.m. Myself, Mr. Rosner, Ms. Branch Stewart, Ms. Donnelly, and President Watson were in attendance. During the meeting, we were able to discuss the following: how to better inform the community of what an official HIB is and to get a better and understanding of when one is substantiated and when one is not. We also talked about watching and discussing the amazing creative video that's on HIB that's located on the district website. But we kind of discussed some ways to kind of try to make it more visible to the parents on the website and how to possibly kind of shorten it without losing the value and the message of the video. We also discussed other creative solutions for that video and how we can advertise it, so to speak, to the parents and community members so they can have a chance to view it. The committee discussed possibly showing at a back to school night presentation, a possible parent and community district sponsored event, just trying to figure out how we can make it, kind of go viral, so to speak. We also discussed care solace and other possible alternatives, such as the nurtured heart approach and challenge data utilized as additional interventions in directing children away from negative behavior. The committee will continue to meet sometime in January. That is all I have.
Thank you very much. Opening it up to comments from the board. Ms. Verde?
Maybe.
Mr. Bryce? You're on mute.
Pardon me. I do want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and just, want to celebrate the Osage, the teachers and the people that were 25 years. That 475 years of service is a lot of service. So I'm thankful to be a part of this community. Thankful to be on this board. Thankful, that, we come into contact with all our members. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Munyon?
Oh, I'm good.
Scutover?
Not at this time.
Mr. Rosen?
Yes, I almost never speak, but the last person who spoke jogged my memory of something that I was thinking of. There's a thing where you say, everything I ever learned, I learned from Star Trek. And I just finished watching Star Trek Discovery season 4, and there was something happened on that episode, and I thought it was something that they could learn from. The situation was that the president of the Federation was aboard the Starship Discovery, and they were in a very delicate mission, and the captain was taking gave out orders, and the Federation president asked a question. So after the tension passes and there's a quiet time, the captain and the Federation president go back to the ready room, and the captain says, I want to point out that when I'm on the bridge and we're in the middle of a delicate mission and you start questioning me, it undermines the confidence of the crew. And the Federation president said, there's a difference between asking a question and questioning. If you ask a question because you want knowledge, greater clarity, or as a way of introducing an alternative way of thinking of something, those are all good things. But questioning to undermine a person's authority or to attack their competency is not the right thing to do. So that's a lesson I learned from Star Trek, and I thought I'd share it.
Thank you. Mr. Rosner.
I'm not sure.
Ms. Rutter.
No comment.
Ms. Branch Stewart.
Happy holidays.
You can respond to me when I'm done. That's fine. Good evening. After 3 years serving this community, tonight is my last meeting of the Board of Education after making the decision not to seek re-election. It wasn't an easy decision, and it's bittersweet, but it was the right decision for myself, for my family, and for the work I've been called to do beyond these walls. I know everybody wants to go home, but I'm going to take a few minutes to share my reflections on my time on the board, the realities I've faced, and the issues I fought for, and my hopes for the future of our district. I'll start with the reality of the culture and climate I endured in this board. From day one, questions were frowned upon by board leadership, but I believed then, and still believe now, that my job was not to be a rubber stamp. It was to ask questions, especially when it was hard, to be curious, and to offer ideas that might strengthen the decisions we were being asked to make. I was once told by another board member something to the effect of, well, one day you'll learn not to feel like you need to read every piece of paper in the board materials packets, that I'd learned to, quote, just trust. That statement was honestly terrifying to me. The idea that anyone would vote on decisions impacting our children without reading, thinking critically, asking for more information when necessary, and doing the work. It's frankly unacceptable. This is a volunteer position, yes, but it is also public service, and the impact of our decisions could change the trajectory of a child's life. There is too much at stake to make decisions lightly. So I read every document, I took notes, and I asked questions and for additional information to make informed decisions. And more than once, my questions resulted in changes. Agenda items pulled, policies amended, issues reconsidered. So to my fellow board members, I hope the day you stop reading agendas is the day you submit your resignation. The people of this district deserve better than that. But there is a culture on this board that punishes people who speak up, and that comes from the top, and that was in full display tonight in our board president's opening statement. A culture that turns independent thinkers into targets. I have been bullied, ostracized, and even threatened for doing what I was elected to do. I had committee assignments stripped away. I was the subject of a policy proposal designed specifically to silence my ability to speak to the public, a policy that quietly disappeared after I announced I was not seeking re-election. I have been threatened with baseless ethics complaints for asking questions and speaking to the public on the record, a complaint like my colleague Randy Stupler endured, a complaint that was ultimately dismissed as baseless and yet cost our district thousands of dollars. I even had to file a police report after being threatened with physical violence. This behavior is not isolated. It's systemic. It's happened before. It has happened to others and will likely happen again. Richard, I'm rooting for you. Stay strong. And it happens because board leadership and administration allows it to happen because they want it to happen. They encourage this culture and behavior because it empowers them and discourages others from ever challenging, asking too many questions, or speaking out due to fear that they'll be the next target. Despite all the personal toll it has taken, I am immensely proud of what I've been able to do over these 3 years. While a single board member cannot pass a policy alone, progress often requires someone to spark an idea, write the first draft, or ask the hard question. I championed world language education across all grades. And while we've made meaningful strides, I believe live instruction that begins in 3rd grade is still too late. I hope the district continues to push this forward and expand our offerings because the data is clear that education must start early to be effective. Sorry. I fought for preschool expansion because early childhood education is one of the most powerful tools we have to reduce inequity and change long-term outcomes. We've made meaningful progress, and I'm hopeful for the future. I still have continued concerns regarding the implementation of our preschool program, and I think it's important that the box is not just considered checked and done. We must continue to innovate and perfect what we are doing to offer high-quality early childhood education to every 3- and 4-year-old in the district. I also pushed for smart district goals that we can actually measure, and for a true strategic plan, something that this district has lacked for far too long. I look forward to watching and participating in that strategic planning process as a member of the public. I hope this board will invest in a meaningful collaborative process. I authored and successfully passed policies to undo harmful book bans, to require written committee reports, and to restore the recording of our meetings when board leadership and the administration made the initial unilateral decision to stop it. I was the only board member to consistently raise my voice for these important transparency measures, but the work is not done, and I worry that there will be setbacks if the community does not continue to expect and demand transparency and accountability from this board. I advocated for school safety, and I'm proud that we now have better systems in place to track who is coming in and out of our buildings, common sense measures that help protect both students and staff in an increasingly dangerous world. I advocated for inclusion of holidays like Diwali, Eid, and then Lunar New Year, which we must ensure is acknowledged in future years. Our school calendar should reflect our full community. These are not just symbolic issues, they are a matter of respect, of representation, and of belonging. I drafted a policy to encourage professional development for board members beyond what is just required by law. If we're going to govern well, we have to be willing to learn, and attending school board conferences and trainings outside of our own community and even state can bring a fresh perspective and new ideas. I encouraged and participated in the creation of better board onboarding processes, including a handbook to ensure board members can hit the ground running when they are first elected, something that would have been immensely helpful to me when I was first elected. I advocated for a change in the way board documents are shared with board members so that we have more time to absorb the materials we're voting on and have a less surprise pop-ups when we're on the dais. I questioned ballooning construction budgets and change orders when necessary to try to safeguard taxpayer investment in our district. We are a heavily taxed community, and the school board budget reflects a large portion of those taxes. We owe it to our community to be strong stewards of their money. And above all, I've tried to center the children and families who are too often overlooked. Our district is changing. We're seeing rising numbers of families living below the federal poverty line. I was once told by the board president that speaking about these issues was, quote, insulting, because we live in, and I quote, an affluent district. But I'm not embarrassed or afraid to say that some families here are struggling. These families are part of what make our district diverse, and beautiful. And I'm proud that I've stood up against increases in school lunch prices and other issues that impact our most vulnerable students dealing with housing and food insecurity. I know what it's like to be the poor kid in an affluent school district. And I'm proud that I spoke up for those children and families. And I pray someone else on this board finds the courage to carry that mantle forward. Because the whole point of high quality public education is to educate and lift up students out of poverty by leveling the playing field, not keeping children there. And while I'm proud of the successes, I can't help but feel a sense of sadness and guilt for leaving this position when there is so much unfinished work. I authored a policy that would have required disaggregated suspension data to help us address racial and disability-based disparities in school discipline. That policy was never even permitted to be discussed in committee, not even a discussion. And so this board continues to not review disaggregated suspension data except for like once a year. Our policy committee has been more concerned about law and order and punishing students rather than dealing with the underlying symptoms that perpetuate inequity in our schools. I raised concern about e-bikes on school grounds. This is a safety issue and we should not wait until there is a tragedy on our school grounds to take action. I authored a policy to protect immigrant students, family, and faculty from the trauma of immigration enforcement on campus, and it too was never brought to a vote. I raised concerns about how we continue to make a profit off of selling sugary snacks to 5-year-olds in our schools while teaching healthy habits in health classrooms. If we're not modeling the same values we teach, what are we doing? I was told I was being difficult to collaborate with for even bringing up this issue. Basic skills support is still too limited. Many students don't qualify for an IEP and they are still struggling. And too often, their only option is a short pullout session that causes them to miss other instruction during the school day. And too often that pullout session can be canceled because basic skills teachers are often pulled to cover absences instead. I still believe that we need a return to after-school tutoring. All of the options on the table. That doesn't mean getting rid of the morning club or basic skills. It means just let's have all of the options on the table to reach every child where they are. If we can find teachers for after-school cursive club, I feel like we can find teachers for reading and math help. And if we can't, we need to ask why. Are we paying our teachers enough? Are we supporting our faculty enough? Let's find out why they're not interested in providing this, since that's what what I've been told is the reason why we're not providing after-school tutoring anymore. And when it comes to student data, we need to be more proactive in assessing the success of our programming and interventions. Are we seeing meaningful improvements? Not comparing two different classes, but the same class, the same students receiving interventions we're investing in. We've made progress in expanding enrichment clubs, but we need more intentional STEAM opportunities integrated into the curriculum for all students, not just the ones who are already at the top, especially in the areas of artificial intelligence, robotics, and engineering. We're not preparing students for tomorrow's job market with yesterday's curriculum. And these opportunities should not depend on the school your child attends. There should be some consistency throughout our elementary schools on the type of enrichment programming offered without stifling innovation. We must prepare for the impact of new development. We know there's construction happening and where it's slated to happen in the near future, and we know families are coming, and yet I don't feel a sense of urgency coming from the board or administration. Let's not wait until we're at critical mass. Start exploring solutions now, revisit boundaries, make plans for expanding space, assess facilities. It will be more affordable and less disruptive if we plan now instead of react later when there's a crisis on our hands. As a school district, we are also arguably the largest landowner in our community and likely one of the largest users of energy. I was encouraged by the Finance Committee's exploration of solar panels and encouraged the board to finish that job and to think through additional ways to reduce the district's carbon footprint. And communication and transparency, I think we have work to do. I think that committee meetings should be open to the public. I think board meetings should be live streamed again and allow for audience participation from home. Committee reports should be shared in public agenda items, and parent workshops and presentations should be recorded. We need to meet families where they are. If you're doing good programming and no one is showing up, that should tell you something. We can't just check a box. We need to be more data-oriented and creative. If we're expending resources and energy, it should be meaningful and impactful. And most of all, we need to talk to people. If board members are discouraged from talking to the people most impacted by our decisions, then we are incapable of making thoughtful decisions, even with the best intentions. We need to listen to our community. We need to figure out how best to solicit and encourage their active participation. And no, parent surveys where just 20 parents respond to questions that are designed to solicit a specific answer is not it. People aren't coming to our board meetings or answering a parent survey because we're doing such a great job and they have nothing to say. They're not coming because they don't know how to participate, and we're not meeting them where they are. And they don't believe their voice will be heard. And we're not actively seeking them out in a way that acknowledges the reality of people's lives. And frankly, they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid that they or their kids will be punished because they've seen what happens to me and others when questions are asked. Why would anyone put themselves on the line and stand up there and say anything? To our community, I hope you show up and speak out, because your voice matters and makes our decisions stronger. You have ideas, so share them. And if you're seeing a problem, speak up or email this in full board, not just the board president, email everybody, because otherwise we won't get it. Demand more and expect more, and then run if your voice goes unheard. We need to do better and we need to demand more, and I promise I'll be there to help you. Though I'm stepping away from this seat, I am not stepping away from this work. My life has changed a lot in the last 3 years that I've served on the board. When I first ran, I was working part-time and I was pregnant with my 4th child. Since then, I've taken a full-time national leadership position. That work has already helped shape new federal guidance from the Federal Department of Education to protect children with invisible disabilities. And as was mentioned, I have legislation introduced in Congress that requires more of my time, focus, and travel. Stepping away from the seat allows me to continue to make an impact on a broader national scale and be more present with my family when I'm home. But I am not going far. Starting in January, I will no longer be bound by ethics restrictions that prevent me from organizing. And I look forward to showing up at meetings, not as a board member, but as a community organizer, my roots, helping families and teachers raise their voices and push this district to what I believe it can and should be. We have a fine school district. We have a lot to be proud of, but that doesn't mean we should be complacent and okay with just fine. We have more resources in this district that many others don't have, and that means we have an opportunity to demand more. So I have a few closing things. To the new board member who hasn't been to a meeting yet, but will take the seat in January, I implore you to do the work. Read every single piece of paper you receive. Ask questions. Don't assume the administration will make the right decisions. Ensure that they will. You're here for a reason. To my fellow board members, our job is not to protect the administration. Our job is to protect the public. Our job is to ask questions, to govern, and to lead. If we're here just to be another rubber stamp, then we've lost our way. It's okay to be friendly with people on all sides of the aisle. It's okay to compromise sometimes. It's okay to change your mind. Life isn't black and white, and there's a lot of beauty in the gray in the middle. So put your personal vendettas and your egos aside and focus on what really matters: student outcomes, the children who are depending on you to get it right. To our teachers and staff, I'll be honest, some of the things that I've heard said about you in private meetings and offhand comments by some of my colleagues have been appalling, and you deserve to know that. I have listened when you've spoken, I've stood with you even when it didn't align with my personal values or my personal, what would be best for me personally. And I hope that someone else on this board will now step up and take my place and do the same. I know you don't want empty compliments and meaningless speeches about how great your emails are or how nice your classrooms looked at back to school night. You deserve praise for all of those things, of course, but you want and deserve board members to stand with you when it matters, because you didn't go into public education for the money. Let's be honest. You got into it because you're passionate and you care and you want to make a difference in children's lives. And I've tried to stand with you when it mattered, and it has been an honor to do that. I will endeavor to continue to stand with you when I can. So thank you for speaking up. Thank you for your service to this district and our children. To the people of Voorhees, thank you for giving me the honor to serve and make history with me. This has never been about a title or a platform. It wasn't a power trip or a stepping stone. It's been about the children of this district who are counting on us to get it right. And I've tried my absolute best to always keep that in mind. To those of you who have personally reached out throughout the last 3 years, thank you for your quiet words of encouragement and support. You kept me going even on the hardest days, and several of you are here tonight, and I can't tell you how much that has meant to me. To my school board partners family, thank you. My school board partners fellowship was life-changing, and I learned so much about what is possible, not just through the program, but through the colleagues and friends I made with school board members across the country who are doing just incredible, inspiring work, laser focused on equity and student outcomes. You continue to inspire me. Finally, thank you to my family, especially my husband, Kevin, who has put up with lots of long nights and the emotional toll that this service has taken on me. Your advice, support, and love made this possible, and I could not have done this without you. Voorhees, this isn't goodbye. I will be cheering this district on when it succeeds, and I'll be here to speak up when it falls short, because the stakes are too high to do anything less. Thank you.
Do any remaining board members have any comments?
Sure, I'll go. Well, first, I'm sad that we're being portrayed in a way that we don't do anything, or that we're complacent, or that there's only one person on this board that cares about the kids or does anything for this district or has any integrity. And so when that perspective is spoken in meetings over and over again, it's painful. So I'd like to take a moment to share another perspective on some of what's said tonight. First, I want to be clear that none of us on this board want any member to feel singled out or treated unfairly. Every person at this table was elected to serve, to contribute, and to bring their voice to the work that we do. And I know I value that, and I value you, Ms. Furry. I do not believe that your opinions are problematic. And I think the rest of us, the 8 of us here, would 100% agree with that. There are normal differences of opinion, strong debates, moments of tension, some yelling too that happens behind closed doors, that happens on maybe every board because people care. Sometimes you get what you personally want and what you think is best for the district, and you get the board to support it by like working with each other and making sure that you have consensus and to build, even if it's constructive dissent. Constructive dissent is good. I agree. And that happens here. It's not everyone agreeing all the time about everything. But sometimes you get the board to support it and sometimes you don't. Now, you might be feeling targeted or pushed to the outside, but your behavior has something to do with this. You can present all you want to people here and everyone claps and feels good about it, but that's not the whole story. Like anything, there's truth between many sides of this. It's not a black or white issue. And you have made comments tonight and throughout your tenure here where you publicly disparage everyone on this board. I mean, you heard the comments tonight at last month's board meeting. Instead of addressing your concerns about committee attendance internally and working through and building consensus and having conversations, maybe asking if someone's not feeling well or something's going on in their family that they can't attend, you feel like it's your job to expose when someone misses a meeting. You called out me after the first year when I was on a committee for not having enough committee meetings. And I'm still learning how to govern and how to do this, right? And that was 2-3 years ago, and I still remember that. And earlier this year, we had a conversation about the policy on what board comment should be. And you had some good, valid points. But then instead of sticking with the points, you started talking about how the committee hasn't debated a single meaningful policy initiative that hasn't come directly from a third-party vendor or been handed us by the administration. These are just a few.
That was a fact.
I am not sure what you expected the response or impact to be other than negative. I don't understand why, but it seems that you feel it's your mission to expose some supposed board dysfunction by discussing inner board workings publicly or implying that people are not doing their jobs. That makes it harder for us to collaborate and stay focused on the issues our community expects us to address. We can disagree even strongly without publicly attacking each other. You and I have spoken directly about this, about how to get your message across without throwing people under the bus as recently as June of this year. And we spoke about this as a group in December 2024 at the board retreat to work on this dynamic. Everyone here agrees. You're smart, thoughtful, and have great ideas and a genuine passion for the district. And we talked about ways to communicate ideas effectively without creating unnecessary conflict or tension. And I hope you know that those conversations came from a place of wanting you to succeed and wanting the board to work well together. Finally, I'd like to apologize to the public for how much time is being spent on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osner.
I would
Ms.
like to
Cudahy?
make a comment as well, Mrs. Watson. First, I just want to say to the Osage family and teachers, I really appreciated your presentation tonight and bringing the students. I'm really touched by your innovation and your desire to support students to be acknowledged for something other than their academic achievement. In a world with so little kindness, I think it's really important to acknowledge students for good behavior, even when no one's watching and there's no expectation necessarily. And you could just see it in the way they spoke tonight about their achievements, how proud they are. So thank you for cultivating good humans. Thank you. This next part, I actually hoped I wasn't going to have to say, but I do. I cannot let Ms. Verdi's narrative stand. And it breaks my heart, but I need to say what I need to say because I need to be able to look back on this and know that I spoke my truth about the experience. So I'll speak plainly about the kind of leadership board work demands. Picture a rowing crew fighting rough water. One rower has strengths, smarts, and plenty of ideas about how to win, but she refuses to row with the team. She splashes teammates, calls out every mistake but her own, and insists the boat would soar if everyone just followed her. Some of her ideas are genuinely interesting, but the way she engages makes it impossible for the team to hear her. The contribution is buried under the behavior. Public education works a lot like that boat. In a system this complex with so many stakeholders, individual brilliance doesn't move a thing. You can have the sharpest idea in the room, but if you cannot build trust, if you cannot partner, if you cannot align with other human beings, the idea has no place to land. It evaporates. A vision without execution is hallucination, and execution depends on real relationships. Without them, nothing gets off the ground. This job can be challenging, and it is thankless most of the time. It demands thoughtfulness and strategy. It demands setting yourself aside for the good of the whole. Ego has no place here, and neither does grandstanding or credit seeking. By the way, Ms. Verdi demonstrated the problem in her comment. Notice and rewatch if you need to, how many times she said I. Collaboration, consensus building, listening, alignment, and humility are all critical success factors. In my work as a leadership coach, I take seriously my responsibility to speak to the best version of the person in front of me. I did that with Ms. Verdi repeatedly for years. After our board retreat, we even had a collective moment that I genuinely believed was a lasting breakthrough. I walked away hopeful. So when she quickly reverted to self-aggrandizement and publicly trashing her colleagues, I was devastated. I felt betrayed and deeply let down. I also felt repeatedly offended every single time she suggested that any of us weren't doing our work and that she was the only one doing her job. It was and is absolutely untrue. It is, quite frankly, shameful that she would even suggest that. These are some of the hardest working, most dedicated public servants I know. The accusation was not only patently false, it was insulting, and it caused even further alienation. But please remember, this alienation was fully self-inflicted. As everyone has said, Ms. Verdi has a strong mind and ideas worth exploring, but good ideas don't matter when you cannot work with people. It doesn't matter that you might have a contribution to make or an innovative perspective to bring when you cannot build trust or sustain relationships long enough to move anything forward. In this kind of system, ideas don't live on talent. They live on partnership and trust that go well beyond transactional connections. Her behavior and ways of being on this board made it impossible for her to be heard. I imagine that was deeply frustrating for her, and it's sad, but it was a situation entirely of her making. And to the speaker who spoke about constructive dissent, I have been on teams my entire life, professionally and personally. This is not constructive dissent. The truth is that the place she finds herself in now is the direct result of her choices, not bullying, not exclusion, choices she made over and over and over again. Many of us tried repeatedly to pull her strengths into the boat, to create a different dynamic, to build bridges, to repair. But collaboration requires at least a willingness to hear other views, to bend, to even be wrong sometimes. When that willingness isn't there, nothing moves. I wish her well, and I'm grateful in a complicated way that her time here has made this board stronger. We are clearer on who we are, how we work, and what real leadership in public education requires. Thank you.
Point of personal privilege, since my name was mentioned multiple times, I thought I was done, but I'm gonna take.
You've
No,
spoken for 10 minutes. You've spoken for 10.
My name was mentioned.
Board solicitor, can we shut this down now?
President Watson.
You spoke for over 15 minutes.
And President Watson, I do intend to actually mention Ms. Verdi's name again if she wants to wait until after my comments, so we can consolidate it.
I do not have the board policy on board comment in front of me.
We don't have a board policy on comments. They tried to pass one. We didn't get one passed. But what we do have is that our board meetings are typically run by Robert's Rules of Order.
I defer to the board president who you elected.
Ms. Branch Stewart,
the board president is not given any more.
Ms. Branch Stewart, since you have not spoken, Julianne, you already spoke for 15 minutes. Allow the rest of the people on the board. You've said your piece. Allow the rest of the people on the board to speak, and then we can close this meeting out so that everybody can go home tonight. Ms. Branch Stewart.
Thank you, President Watson. And I as well feel compelled to speak candidly about the transition ahead. January not only marks a new year, but a much needed opportunity for a new chapter in board governance. I look forward to a board that can operate with unity, respect, and a shared purpose, free from dysfunction, delusion, and conflict that have too often overshadowed our work. It's no secret that we have been challenged by behavior, as shown by Ms. Verdi this evening, that undermines this board's ability to function effectively. There have been repeated breaches of confidentiality, actions motivated by personal agendas rather than the best interests of our students, decisions made in alignment with individuals whose intentions do not support the progress of this district, performative public activism contradicted by private acts of obstruction. And that's just to name a few. Those choices, specifically by outgoing board member Julianne Birdie, have impeded progress and created unnecessary division. Ironically, though, as Ms. Cutover pointed out, they have made us a stronger board going forward, one with members that I am very grateful to serve with and confident have the best interests of the district in mind, will work collaboratively even during times of disagreement, which we absolutely have, and will prioritize service over self-interest and social media accolades. This is exactly what our community and our students deserve. I'm genuinely optimistic about the future and grateful that we will begin 2026 with a renewed opportunity to restore professionalism, rebuild trust, and refocus on what matters most, the success and well-being of our students. Thank you.
Again, point of personal privilege, since my name was mentioned repeatedly. I think this speaks for itself, but the amount of lies and complete nonsense that was just told tonight it's insulting to me, but it's insulting to everybody in this room to even have to listen to it. Oprah emails. There's receipts on all of these things. You can see the things that I ask for and say. It's all Oprahable. Oprah the emails, and continue to do that and hold these people accountable. I know that I will continue to hold them accountable and along with the public, because again, the public demands more than this. And if you think that by saying you're doing a great job and I'm saying that I said I a lot. Yeah, I believe in the power of storytelling. I believe that it's important to tell a story and bring people along so they understand where I'm coming from. And that's what I've tried to do throughout my time on this board. And I knew today was going to be tough. So I came in with knowing that, but this was sort of beyond the pale. But it really solidifies that this was the right decision, because no one should have to endure what I just endured tonight. And the fact that you all are in charge of public education is horrifying, because would you want any of your children to just sit through what I just had to sit through tonight? I sure hope that's not how you treat your own children at home, because this was horrifying.
Right.
So, again, to the public, to the people of this, to the people
I'm tired of the
Voorhees,
disrespect.
I just want to say again, I appreciate the opportunity to have served this board. I appreciate the opportunity to have
proving all
served
of
this
our points.
community.
We're going to close the meeting. We're going to move to
no, I'm going to
the next
finish
meeting
my
is January
statement
7th,
because
2026.
I have earned the
It's a board
opportunity to do
reorganization
so.
meeting.
So I
Can I get a
just
motion
want to
to
say
adjourn the
again,
meeting?
thank you to the rest
Can I get a
of
motion
this
to adjourn
community
the
for the
meeting?
opportunity to serve, and I will continue to do so. Thank you.
Is there a second for the motion to adjourn?
Second, Rudder.
Aye.
Aye.